Even if he didn't get cut, there probably was still a possibility of him getting cut in the Usyk fight anyway. I think he cuts quite easily.
This is Jonathan Anger, 5th Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Denzel "Two-Shot" Bentley here in Tolworth at Dean White's show. You've been here before, Denzel. You enjoy them?
Yeah, no, I've been there before. I always come out. It's good to see new talent. It's a good vibe. Dean puts on a good show. There's always food about, drinks. So yeah, no, it's always good. Good atmosphere.
You've come up through sort of the small hall shows, getting to sort of the top tier. I guess you kind of relate to these fighters trying to just make it and get to sort of the level, right?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think my first fight was actually here. I mean, it was an exhibition, but yeah, my first actual experience as a professional was in this venue here. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, I see it. I've been there. Made my way to where I am now. So, I'm saying it's not impossible for anyone else. I'm saying so. It's good to see it. Sometimes you see some good talents in there, and when you see them on the big screen, people think they just come out of the blue, but they've been grinding away on these kind of shows. So it's good.
Yeah, Alfie Clegg. I don't know if you've seen him fight. He's good.
Yeah, he is quite good. Still, he's headlining tonight, right? So I think he's got a title fight, right?
Yeah.
Is it a U4 title? I think. Yeah. So that'll be good for him. So he's another person that's climbing up through these ranks, and when he makes it to the big stage, people that have seen him will know that he's grinding his way on these sort of shows to get to where he's going to end up. So good for him.
So that exhibition, I never knew that. Was that before your career started? Or?
Yeah, that was actually my first experience as a pro. So before my debut, I'd done it with Victor. You guys don't know Victor. He's a top away fighter, top gentleman. Same way, good. Yeah. So yeah, I done it with Victor. It was quite funny.
Denzel, we haven't caught up since the Nathan Heaney fight. Reflections? I'm guessing you're disappointed, but yeah, how do you reflect on it?
Disappointed, but life goes on. He trained hard. He performed well. He deserves it. Here's what it is. I go again, innit? I bounced back before. I can do it again.
You made no excuses after the fight, but looking back, what would you have done different, if anything?
I mean, the main thing the one thing I can pick out is just my focus. I wasn't focused. There was a lot going on. I'm not one to make excuses, so I don't want to be going back and forth being like, oh, this and that, because from when I've decided to get into the ring, I've made it clear to the fans and my opponent that I'm fully fit to get in. So I can't come in now and make excuses and act like this is what was wrong. I didn't say it in the build-up. So it's just it's dead. So we've got to move on from there. He done what he done. He was 100% focused. I wasn't. And I paid the price for it.
But it's boxing and there's still big fights left. I don't think your name's sort of left anyone's sort of minds, because there's a lot of big fights there. What are you looking at this year?
Staying focused. That's my aim. Staying focused. If I'm not right, don't fight. I'm hoping that I'm right throughout the year. Life happens. It is what it is. But yeah, man. There's still a lot of big fights. I mean, my name hasn't dropped off because people know the type of fighter I am. I think everyone can see that was an off night. So I ain't got to do much explaining. It just wasn't me, and I was just doing a lot of things wrong. Wasn't even thinking about I was just a whole bunch of whatever. But like you said, still big fights. I've told my team I don't want no comeback fights, no 8-rounders, no 6-rounders. I'm not really interested in that stuff. So I want to get straight back out there in a good fight. And I think I'm still credible enough to get into a good fight. Someone's going to want my name on their record. So it shouldn't be too hard to get me a decent fight. And I'm ready, for wherever and whoever it is.
So has Frank spoken to you or Martin about what could be next? Any names?
Yeah, I spoke to Martin. I mean, Martin managed me, but as well as that, he's my trainer, so I manage him every day. I saw Frank on Saturday. Couldn't really talk into detail, but he was just saying, look, we're ready to go back out. He's with me and all this stuff, and we'll go to his office, catch up and have a meeting and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been talking to Martin, and we kind of have a rough idea of what's next.
Okay. I want to throw some names at you. I was looking at the WBO rankings earlier, and there's Shane Mosley Jr, number 3. You've obviously fought in America before. You've got a bit of a name out there. Is that someone you'd be interested in facing?
Yeah, 100%. If it makes sense and I can get out there and we can both benefit of it, it's got to make sense for both of us, not just me. He might feel like it doesn't make sense where he's ranked so high and he's so close to a world title shot. I might feel like, what's the point of going out to America if if it's not worth it financially, or if I'm not going to get a shot at world title next. But that's a fight I've actually looked at before and thought I'd actually like to fight him. I've seen him fight. Of course, he's got his father's name, which would be an honour to have on my resume. We're honoured to share the ring with him. But ultimately, I'm just about a good fight. So you mentioned a good fighter to me, I'm always going to say yes. But then you look at the other side of it and you're like, does it make sense for both of us? But yeah, in all, my answer is yes. I'd love to fight him, even if I had to go back out to America.
We saw obviously Hamza Shiraz stop Liam Williams in round 1. Were you shocked?
I thought he was going to stop him originally, but yeah, I didn't think in the first round. So I've got to give him credit. That was a good performance from him. But I kind of knew Williams wasn't the same from the Eubank performance, him being put down with a jab 4 times against Eubank. And I knew Hamza has a good jab. I know Hamza has a good jab. And I thought if he uses his jab, then he's going to get him out of there. So I kind of thought he'd stop him. Even though on the day I changed my prediction, I thought maybe he'll go the distance. But I had Hamza winning, but not in the first round. So yeah, no, congrats to him. That was a good performance.
Now, there's some talk that he's going to fight potentially Ammo Williams on the Matchroom Queensbury card in Saudi.
Yeah.
But if he was to say, well, 2 parts to this question. If he was to say get that Janibek fight for the world title, do you think there's a chance maybe you get selected against Ammo Williams if they choose a middleweight fight?
I don't know, and I'm not really thinking about that because that's not till June, and I want to be out before then. So I want to be out before then. I want to get back in the win column, and then I look at all these guys. But if I did get the call up, then me, it's yes. Ammo Williams was a good fighter. I sparred him a few years back when Regis Progress came down to fight Taylor. He was a part of his camp, so I've had good work with him. And he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. So, me, if someone's a good fighter and makes a good fight, then I'm with it.
And then just on Janibek, you pushed him real close in Vegas. That rematch, do you think it's got to happen?
I mean, right now, because of my last performance and stuff, I'm not going to be deluded and say, oh yeah, I want it next. I do want it next, but I kind of understand why I wouldn't get it next. You know what I mean? So I've got to get myself back up there, and I'm not just trying to jump the queue or stop. I need to get myself back up there, and I know that. So, and I will get myself back up there. But heading to the end of the year, we'll see where we are, and if it makes sense, that's the fight I want. Ultimately, I want to be a world champion. So those are guys that are world titles, and he has 2 of the world titles. He's the world champion. So yeah, that is someone I'm looking at, but I've got to get myself right first.
Absolutely. Just a couple predictions from you. Joshua Ngannou coming up. How do you reckon that's going to go?
Good fight. I'm going to go AJ. Yeah.
Zhilei Zhang taking on Joseph Parker. I know you actually ringside for Parker's fight with Wilder. But how do you reckon he's going to do against Zhang?
Zhang's a different kettle of fish, man. I mean, you got to give Parker credit for even taking that. He doesn't need to take it. You could just leave Zhang on the shelf. He's probably going to retire soon. He's about 40 now. But I'm going to go Zhang, man. But full respect to Parker. If Parker wins, you've got to give him full credit, man. I respect that guy's career. He's fought some good names, man, and he's never backed down from a fight. But I'm going to go Zhang.
How do you think Fury's cut's going to affect him going into the Usyk fight? Do you think it's going to affect him, or do you think he'll recover in time?
I mean, even if he didn't get cut, there probably was still a possibility of him getting cut in the Usyk fight anyway. I think he cuts quite easily. That's just how his skin is. But the only way I think it affects him is if it's going to recover in time for him to have a good enough camp for May. That's the only thing. If it doesn't recover in time for him to start sparring again and all these things, then it could play a part. But if he recovers in time where he can start sparring and everything's good and that, then he'll have a good camp, then it'll be a good fight. But I think that's the only way it affects him. In the fight, I think he'd probably get cut anyway, regardless of if it's the same cut or not.
Usyk's manager said Fury's not scared of Usyk, but he's scared to lose to Usyk. What do you make of that?
I think Fury, I wouldn't say scared, I don't think he wants to lose to anybody. I don't think he's looking at Usyk saying that's the only person he's scared to lose to or doesn't want to lose to. I'm sure if he was fighting AJ, he wouldn't want to lose to AJ neither. And that could give him that motivation to train that little bit harder and give him that, the kick up the arse that he needs to get himself right. Because you saw in the Ngannou fight, he clearly, as much as he says he clearly didn't prepare well enough for that fight. So that might, give him the little fire in his belly to be like, you know what, I don't want to lose to this guy. Let me work that bit harder. So that could end up playing in Fury's favour and against Usyk.
Just lastly, like I mentioned, you in Saudi. How was that experience, and has that motivated you to get out there and have a fight?
Yeah, it was a good experience, man. I mean, I literally decided to go the night before the fight. I was looking at all the build-up on the phone. I was like, I can't believe I'm missing this. My boy Els is out there on his own. I can't have that. I got to go. I just flew out there for the weekend and came back. But it was a crazy experience, man. It was a mad 24, 48 hours out there. So I'm happy I went. Saw a lot of faces, saw a lot of people. Obviously went out there, support Ellis. It didn't go his way, but we live to fight another day is what it is. And yeah, man, I mean, I'd love to go out there and fight one day.
Brilliant. Well, Denzel, good to speak to you, catch up, and hopefully a big year for you this year.
Yeah, no, hopefully, man. Thank you.
Thank you.